A good afternoon from the Joint Base San Antonio Lackland here in San Antonio, Texas. It's time for game one of the 2017 Armed Forces Women's Basketball Tournament. Hi everybody, Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. Before we get things going, let me preface this by saying that we have had a ton of internet trouble today, folks. We're streaming on a MiFi card, and those things are about as unpredictable as they get, so the broadcast may go down from time to time. We will do our best to get it up and keep it up and running for you as much as possible, but just setting the stage for what might be a frustrating afternoon for you if you have to hit the refresh button a lot in advance. We apologize. It's the best option that we have. Master Sergeant Tashawn Taylor is starting. Number 3, Staff Sergeant Cinnamon Cava. Number 4, First Lieutenant Angela Johnson. Number 15, Airman First Class Giovanni Sims. Number 21, Airman First Class Epiphany Woods. And number 32, Staff Sergeant Charmaine Clark. So that's the starters for Air Force. For Navy, and head coach 03 Virgil Stobridge. He starts number 1, E5, Shy Johnson. Number 12, E4, Shaniqua Bennett. Number 21, E3, Camille Horn. Number 23, Christy Ayers. And number 33, E3, Danica Dale. So that's the starters for both of these teams. A couple of players to look out for. You know, for Air Force, a lot of these players played at the Air Force, and if they did play Division I college basketball at some point in their careers. Some players like Angela Johnson, Sheree Medina, their paths crossed at Air Force from time to time. So it's Air Force and Navy here this afternoon in game number 1 on the ladies' side of things. For Navy, Shy Johnson, a good player at Marshall, a Division I school, and a couple other players for Yasmin Harris, a good player off the bench, and also Camille Horn, who starts this game, played 4 years at UNC Pembroke, which is a Division II school. But the key for Virgil Stobridge is Danica Dale, who played 4 years at Liberty, according to Coach Stobridge, a coach's dream kind of a player who can play all 5 positions. She's athletic and can really carry a team. So Danica Dale, one of several storylines that we'll get to here this afternoon. It's Navy and it's Air Force coming up here in just a moment. We will step aside and bring you the opening tip here in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to San Antonio. Air Force and Navy to kick off the women's tournament here this afternoon. If you are an Air Force or Navy enthusiast, just in general, you may be interested to know that the Air Force men winning today 113-97. So Navy appears, according to Virgil Stobridge, the head coach, focused this year as they were training. Of course, losing that gold medal game on a buzzer beater will do that to you. And the Air Force, they finished bronze last year, higher expectations this year with a couple of new additions. Charmaine Clark, who played professionally in Iceland and played her college basketball for the Miami Hurricanes, is one of the players that we'll watch out for the Air Force, who's in the black. Navy is in the white as we're set to get going here in San Antonio. It's Sims tipping with Dale, and we will do it again. So we're underway here in quarter number 1, high-scoring men's game. We'll see what the ladies have in store here in the first game of 14 in the women's side. It's college basketball rules, folks, if you're just tuning into this tournament for the first time. So quarters for the women, halves for the men, and fouls because it's college basketball. First shot comes up short for Navy. Now here's Kava getting into the forecourt to Johnson for the Air Force. Kava, 2015 Team USA member, driving his Sims, and it's taken away by Navy. Out on the run is Horn. Underneath Johnson, in and out. Rebound controlled for the Air Force by Charmaine Clark. Clark's a good rebounder, as that jumper is no good. Double-double threat for sure. Losing the dribble was Ayers. It's picked up by Bennett for Navy. This is Shai Johnson. Johnson. Good ball movement. Dale turnaround shot is short. Quarter number 1, minute plus in, and we are scoreless. 3 ball by Johnson. Yes. Air Force strikes first. Angela Johnson played for the Air Force from 2011 to 2015. 2.7 points, 2.4 rebounds her senior year playing Division I basketball. And she's from here in San Antonio. So, homecoming for her. She's also stationed here in Lackland as Dale is bumped. First foul of the game will belong to Johnson. Folks, again, if you're just joining us, we may or may not have some internet problems here and there. So apologies in advance. If we go away, we'll get it back up and running as quick as we can. Fingers crossed it'll go better than the first game. Here's Dale to the bucket. Scoops it up and in. Danica Dale, they're going to use her in the post. As I mentioned, Coach Virgil Stobridge mentioned she could play all positions. So when she gets a rebound, look for Navy possibly to try to push the basketball. Good defense there. Better offense, though, as Giovanni Sims connects, and it's 5-2 in favor of Air Force. Sims played at North Georgia for a couple of seasons, 4.7 points. A good shooter, too, at 45%. Out on the run, Air Force. Good defense by Johnson to deflect that out of play. Shai Johnson stationed in New Orleans, as I mentioned, from Cincinnati, Ohio, where they like to eat their chili with spaghetti. That's a true story. Shot no good. Rebound controlled by Navy. Ayers comes up with it. Johnson into the forecourt. Dale driving left of the lane, had it poked away. Clark trying to say that she was not the last person to touch it, but loses that battle. Three ball by Johnson is no good. And here comes Air Force. Kava with the bounce pass. Sims gets it back out to her. Swings it to Johnson. Johnson with the nice fake and bucket. Good start for Air Force. 7-2 here in the early going, about 3.5 minutes in here in quarter number 1. Ayers swings it out. The 3 is up. The 3 is in from Horn. 7-5 now. Horn, mentioned, played at UNC Pembroke, a good Division II school in North Carolina. She's from Greensboro. And there's going to be an offensive foul called on Air Force, which will be their second. So Navy with the basketball, trailing by 2. Johnson across the timeline and into the forecourt. Good ball movement again. Dale looking to drive on Clark, lost the dribble. Navy stays with it though, as Bennett was able to come up with it. Shot up, and the shot is good from Ayers. So Ayers evens us at 7 apiece. Kava. Here's Clark in the corner, and her pass almost taken away. Bennett upset with herself. So with 15 on the shot clock, Air Force will inbound it. Woods. This is Kava. Kava, member of Team USA in 2015, competed in the SISM Championship. Sims has it rejected. Here's what I talked about, Dale running the floor and lost it out of bounds. Good defense by Johnson. Johnson blocked the shot, and then Dale tried to recover but lost it out of bounds. So, Air Force with the basketball again. Tie ball game midway through this first quarter. Since we're playing college basketball rules, got to ask, when is college basketball going to even things out and just go to quarters for both the men and women? Good ball movement, finding Woods underneath. Epiphany Woods from Chicago. They know basketball in that city. Played at Idaho State for 2 years. Averaged 14 points per ball game. Shot 44%. And another foul on Air Force will be their third here in this first quarter. Remember, it's 5 in the women's game because they go quarters. You're in the bonus on your 5th per quarter. Couple of in. So welcome back, folks. So the shooting has started to pick up as Horn just hit a triple seconds ago, in case you missed it. Driving is Sims. Underneath, turnaround shot by Izzy is good. Izzy, a veteran. Played at Lafayette in 2005, 2006 before joining the Air Force later. Foul called on the Air Force is going to be their 4th. And I believe it was on the floor, so Horn will inbound for Navy. Navy and Air Force will meet again on Saturday at 5 p.m. as Horn gets another to go, and it's a 1-point game again. As I mentioned, folks, some internet problems will come up, so if we lose you, if you lose us, give it a minute and refresh your mobile phones or whatever. Underneath, Johnson with the bucket to make it 15-12. 3-point lead. Horn for 3, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound by Bennett, takes a dribble and comes up short. Izzy the rebound. Here is Kava. Kava steps into a 3, yes. We are tied at 15. So here comes Air Force, 2:25 left to play in quarter number 1. Tied at 15. Underneath the pass for Izzy, who puts it up and in. It's a nice pass, too. I believe it was Jamila Satterfield who's come on. Now Horn for 3, a little bit long on that. Out on the run is Kava, 3-on-1. Flipping it up and in is Medina. So some subs for Air Force as Medina comes on, makes an immediate impact. That's Sheree Medina. On the floor here in just a moment. Baseline jumper off the back of the rim, offensive rebound as Navy continues to swing it. Here's Dale for 3. Well, we had to adjust the score a little bit. 22-12 is what they're showing here in favor of Air Force. So apologies for the miscommunication, but that is the correct score now on your screen with 1:15 left to go here in this opening quarter. Satterfield, that shot did all but go in, and on the rebound attempt, it's Izzy called for an offensive foul. That's team foul number 5 for Air Force, so free throws to come. 2 on Navy so far, and Navy down by 10 will look to free throws to try to work themselves back in it. Good chance to set the 5 on the floor at the free throw line is Naisha Adams. She's on the court for Navy with Jamaica Hoskins, also Danica Dale, Christy Ayers, and also Shy Johnson. We'll set the 5 for Air Force here in just a moment. First free throw up and in for Hoskins, who played at Southeast Louisiana from 2012 to 2015. It's a deep Navy team. They've got a lot of experience. Hoskins averaged 8.6 points per game in her collegiate career as she gets both free throws to go. So the 5 for Air Force is Farmer, also Sheree Medina. That in the backcourt with number 20, that's Brianna Cozart. And up front, it's Captain Izzy. And here's Cozart's pass, that's deflected. Jessica St. Cyr, the other player on the court for Air Force, is traveling, is called on Navy's Hoskins. A frantic pace. This is what we saw in the first game as well. Inside a minute to go here in the first quarter. Medina, Satterfield. Here's Cozart going behind the back, lost the dribble, and Hoskins is fouled. Again, Navy is in the bonus. Jamaica Hoskins with 2 more free throws to come here. So Navy, who trailed by 10 now, using free throws to work themselves back in it. 6-point ball game. 22-16. 16. We'll be back with the second quarter here in just a moment. On to the second quarter, 24-16, Air Force leading Navy. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you. 14-4, the points in the paint in favor of the Air Force. Leading scorers is Angela Johnson for Air Force with 9 points, 4 points for Captain Izzy, and for the Navy, 8 points for Camille Horn. So that's your first quarter stats. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. Again, folks, the internet not cooperating much here this afternoon, so if we go down, just hit your refresh in a minute or so and try to get it back up for you. Underneath, Captain Izzy trying to draw contact and traveled with the basketball as Navy did a good job to collapse on her, forcing her to make the error. And Navy will get the basketball back. Air Force led by as many as 10 in the opening quarter, if you're just joining us. 22-12 was the biggest lead. Driving is Johnson, and Johnson is called for steps. So back-to-back turnovers to start off the second quarter. 10 fast break points for Air Force, too, as they push the basketball. So points in paint and pushing the tempo. That's favored Air Force here today. Clark looking for Izzy underneath. And the pass intercepted. Here's Dale. Now Ayers for 3. Grazes the rim, that's all, and it'll go out of bounds back to Air Force. Sub for Air Force, Giovanni Sims coming back in. Coming out is Izzy. Medina running the show. In the corner, it's Clark. Medina swings now. St. Cyr back to Medina. Triggers a triple, can't get it to go. Rebound by Clark. Clark looking to post up Hoskins. Too strong on it, airs the rebound. And here comes Navy. Ayers swings it to the corner. It's Adams with the baseline shot, and air ball. St. Cyr the rebound. Medina. Clark looks underneath for the cutter, Sims, and Sims lays it up and in. Good pass by Clark. Nice cut by Sims, and the lead back to 10 for Air Force. Here's Dale. Turnaround shot. Hoskins got hit, so she'll go to the line for 2. Chris Shima, glad to be with you here in San Antonio all week long. As of now, the plan is to go live for the rest of the week. We'll adjust as needed. 2 shots now for Hoskins. Hoskins, busy day at the line already for her. She's now 5 out of 5 from the charity stripe. Air Force yet to shoot a free throw in this game. Hoskins toes the line again. And still perfect, 6 out of 6. The lead is down to 8. Medina guarded by Adams. It's a zone for Navy. Trying to slow down Air Force. Sims on the baseline had it poked away. So we will stay on this side of the court. Medina. Johnson. St. Cyr back to Johnson with the hand in her face. The rainbow 3 no good. Medina, how about the guard, the rebound, and the reverse? Gotta like that. Medina at 5'7", doing work underneath. Answering back, though, is Horn with a triple. So the lead is 7. And I believe that's Horn's second free throw. Or, excuse me, that's her third three-pointer. Turnover. Dale comes up with the steal. Here's Ayers. 3 again from Horn. Her 4th triple of the afternoon. Timeout by the Air Force. We will go away and come back in just a moment. (28-24), 6-0 run for Navy on a couple of three-pointers. 7:07 left to go here in quarter number 2. Pass tipped, almost take it away. Clark able to come up with it. And Navy, the zone starting to work as they come up with the steal out on the run, and Adams lays it up and in. The run is 8-0 now for Navy, who cuts the deficit to 2. Cava's back in there, Cinnamon Cava with Johnson and Medina in the backcourt. Up front, it's Clark and Sims. That's the 5 for Air Force. Here's Clark, rejected by Dale. Navy again, 4 on 3. Pass to Dale. Dale, yes, no call, a lot of contact. And the 10-0 run as we're even at 28. Cava into the forecourt. Tashawn Taylor, excuse me, directing Navy from the sidelines. 6 to shoot. Clark with 2 to shoot. Got to get it off. Nice pass, and at the buzzer, are they going to count it? They do count it. Sims. Boy, that was close. No replay, unfortunately. Here's Dale from the half circle. Yes. Danica Dale, 4 years at Liberty. 7.7 points, 5.5 rebounds, 102 assists, 58 steals, 33 blocks as a senior at Liberty. And as Virgil Stobridge, the head coach of Navy, said, she's a player who can do it all. Medina, too strong on that one. Here comes Navy. Navy looking for its first lead. Ayers, yes. And Navy. The score has been tied a couple of times in this game, but this is the first lead for Navy. Johnson lost it and caught it, and Virgil Stobridge asking for a jump ball, but they call a foul. So Ayers picks up the foul on a reach. 4:41 left to go until halftime, and Captain Izzy checking back in. Also Epiphany Woods back out there for Air Force. Horn is by Dale. She's fouled and will go to the line. So Jamaica Hoskins throw a stripe yet again. And I believe she's a perfect 5 out of 5 at this point. I think it's 6 out of 6. So 36-32. So 36-32 as she finally misses a free throw. Into the forecourt now for the Air Force is Cava. Cava gets it back from Woods. (38-32), a couple of free throws for Navy have them out to a 6 on Woods. Neither team. That's going to be the 4th on Air Force, so it will be bonus situation for Navy over the final 142 here. Inbound goes to Hoskins. Hoskins spinning over 2 defenders and drawing the foul. So Hoskins, who has spent a lot of time at the free throw stripe here in this first half, back there again. She's only missed 1. I believe this is her 9th attempt coming up. And the second free throw also good. So Navy leads by 3, 40-37. Air Force shuffling some players in again. Air Force has Brittany Wright running the point, and now they're going to reset the clock here. So that's got us held up. So Brittany Wright, Angela Johnson. St. Cyr also out there with Sims and Kava. That's the 5 for Air Force. So shot clock, game clock issue. It will be Air Force basketball. So that's the 5 for Air Force. For Navy, it's Johnson and Adams in the backcourt with Ayers. Also Bennett and Farmer. Christina Farmer on for the first time, I believe, for Navy. Johnson on the left. Again, Navy has gone to a zone. That's going to be a steal now by Johnson. Here comes Adams. Can't get it to go. Rebound by Johnson for the Air Force. It's ripped away by Bennett. Underneath, Adams makes amends. Navy has scored 30 points in this second quarter. And how about that at the buzzer? That's going to count from Wright. Brittany Wright. Now the officials are going to talk about it. Virgil Strobridge is saying no basket. No, now they wave it off. So no basket. So at the half, Navy outscores Air Force 30-13 in the second quarter as they take a 9-point lead into the locker rooms. Folks, we'll take a break, come back in about 10 minutes, and bring in the second half here in just a few moments. Welcome back to San Antonio. 46-37 is your halftime score in favor of Navy. Navy shooting 46% for the game. Air Force is actually out shooting Navy 52% to 46%. But Navy went to a zone in that second quarter, and it really confused the Air Force, forcing them into a lot of turnovers. In fact, 13-5 the turnovers in favor of Navy. Navy with just 5 turnovers and 13 for the Air Force in that first half. Leading scorers, Angela Johnson for the Air Force in double figures with 12 on 5 of 8 shooting. She's the only player in double figures for the Air Force. 7 points for Cinnamon Kava and 6 for Sims. That's your leaders for Air Force. For Navy, Camille Horn, 5 of 8 from downtown, 6 of 9 overall. She's got 17 points. And 9 points for Jamaica Hoskins, who's taken just 1 shot in this ball game. 9 out of 10 from the charity stripe. 6 and 6 for Christy Ayers as well. So those are your first half numbers. Points in the paint led by Air Force 22-16. Points off turnovers, though, plus 14 in favor of Navy, 20-6. Air Force controlled the first quarter. It was 30-13 in favor of Navy in that second quarter. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you as we're back to live action now as Johnson draws contact. So Shy Johnson will go to the line. Johnson will take her first free throws. For Navy, a bittersweet ending last year, losing in the gold medal game to Army, finishing 3-4 overall and in second place. They lost that game on a buzzer beater, and head coach Virgil Stobridge says that his team is not messing around. They are focused. That's why they lead by 10 right now. And again, it's that zone. Johnson with the steal, goes coast to coast and scores. Navy by 12. Welcome back, third quarter. Air Force with the basketball after falling behind by 12 and away from the ball. Some extracurricular activities. I'm not sure quite what happened, but Shaniqua Bennett for Navy is hot. So Air Force will inbound it. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here in San Antonio. Cinnamon Kava into the forecourt. Sims, the reverse shot, no. Dale tipped the rebound. Bennett comes up with it. Bennett the bounce pass. Here's Horn for 3. Yes! That's her 6th three-pointer here today as Navy pulls ahead now. 52-37, and now a turnover. So the ball goes back to Navy off the Air Force turnover. Johnson. Bounce pass to Bennett. Baseline turnaround jumper is good. Navy in control by 17 points. Kava. Bounce pass to Johnson. Fakes the 3. Takes it baseline. Jumper is too long. Tip for the rebound. Woods chases it down. Swings it out. Open look for Sims, and she hits. So Sims connecting. Air Force needs some stops on this end now. Johnson top of the key. Here's Ayers. Johnson tips it to Dale. Dale for 3, no. Offensive rebound by Horn. And a fresh 30 for Navy. Driving is Johnson underneath. Bennett, the reverse, can't get it to go. Dale saves it again. Horn again for 3. Her 7th three-pointer. And the lead grows to 18. Air Force trying to weather the storm here. Kava short on it. Offensive rebound by Woods. Swings it over. Sims again. Not that time, as she missed it back rim. Johnson, Dale underneath, and she is fouled. Virgil Stobridge called Camille Horn and Maya Moore type shooter. A player who can face up and post, back down a defender. So far, she's been doing it all from behind the arc. 7 3-pointers. That foul on the Air Force, by the way, was their 4th. Driving is Dale, rejected, got it back and scores. The lead grows to 20 for Navy. Kava. Sims looking underneath and threw it away. So it'll be Navy with the basketball. It was 22-12 in favor of the Air Force at one point in this game. Johnson. Here's Dale on the right. Dale right around the defense. She scores. Navy in a rout nearing the midway point of this third quarter. Johnson for 3, yes. It's never too late if you're the Air Force. Hitting shots in that zone is going to be one key. You hear commentators talk about it a lot in Syracuse men's basketball games. If you can hit a shot in the zone, if you're an opponent and you're making your shots, you can beat the zone. Air Force getting a needed stop there. Trying to put a run together. Kava over to Johnson, thought about it, back to Kava. There's Izzy who's come in. Her pass deflected, taken away by Bennett. Bennett almost lost the dribble to Johnson. Extra pass to Dale. Oh, it's showtime here in San Antonio. Kava now, and Air Force will call for time again. We will go away again. 4:44 left to go. The lead is 21 for Navy. We'll step aside. Third quarter action here in the women's first game in this 2017 Armed Forces Sports Basketball Tournament. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here in San Antonio. 63-42, it's all Navy so far. Air Force with the basketball. Air Force, if you're just joining us, led by 10 early on. Navy clamp it down. Nice post work by Woods to get the bucket out of the timeout. Here's Johnson. Horn for three again, not that time. How about Dale? Goes over two defenders. Ayers behind the back. Ayers swings it out. Johnson open look, can't get it to go. And the other Johnson for Air Force will chase down the rebound and then throw it away. Kava couldn't come up with it. So Navy will get it back. Five on the floor for Navy. It's Camille Horn, Shy Johnson, Danica Dale, also Christy Ayers, and Shaniqua Bennett, their starting five for Navy. For the Air Force, Clark's come back in. Charmaine Clark up front, Kava, also Johnson. Dale got the bucket that time. Epiphany Woods also out there, as is Medina. So that's the five for the Air Force. Medina has it on the left wing now. Pass deflected. Johnson comes up with it. Kava on the right. Up top, Johnson. Johnson, that ball is kicked. So with 4 on the shot clock, Air Force will have to go quickly as Navy brings in Jamaica Hoskins to replace Camille Horn. Dale comes up with the steal. Great defense off the inbound. We've seen that a lot already in this tournament for the men's and women's 2 games now that we've seen. A lot of steals off inbounds. Kava running the floor. Johnson on the alley-oop, puts it up and in. Dale top of the key. Dale splits the defense, scoops it up and in. Oh boy, she is something to watch. I mean, when you've got size and you've got a wingspan, so you've got all the tools defensively that you need. And look at the athleticism. I mean, she's running the floor so. 12 to shoot now. Woods in the corner with 7. Again, it's all jump shots for the Air Force, trying to get a floater on the baseline to go. Can't do it. Johnson out on the run. Yes, and the foul. So Johnson will go to the line, try to complete the old school 3-point play. And folks, if the score holds where it is, or if Navy adds more, I'm going to cut the audio in the part of the reason is I'm trying to broadcast 28 basketball games in 7 days by myself, and my doctor said that it's physically impossible. So it's possible we'll go no audio in the 4th quarter. Now, if the game should become competitive again, then I'll still be here, so we'll bring it back in. But that's the plan right now, depending on how things go over the final 2 minutes of this 3rd quarter. And I appreciate your patience with that. I want to make sure that I could bring you all 28 games if possible. Dale for 3, a little bit off the mark, and the rebound controlled by the Air Force. That was Clark with the board. Triple in the corner by Cozart, can't get it to go. Here comes Navy, it's Hoskins, out to Johnson. Swings it to Ayers. Dale. Nice extra pass, and the back door. It's Hoskins putting it up and in. Hoskins is a player that Virgil Stobridge told me, you know, she's their 6th woman. relentless on defense and wants to guard the other team's best players. She's gotten it done offensively as well. Deep three by Medina is good. Into the forecourt, Johnson. Inside a minute to go here in quarter number 3. Good ball movement again. A lot of unplay. The Air Force is Jessica St. Cyr. Danica Dale trying to get her second free throw to go. So just 1 out of 2 at the line. Also coming in was Cozart. She pulled down the rebound. This is Medina looking underneath. Nice to Clark for the easy 2. So they've got it as 71-51 here. About 7-second difference between game and shot clock is the foul for Navy was Adams. Cozart picks up a foul. And Adams will go to the line to shoot 2. So it is 72-51. We had it right. And it remains that way as Adams misses the free throw. And missed them both. Rebound controlled by Clark for Air Force, and with 18.3, Air Force is going to inbound it here. St. Cyr to inbound as Air Force will hold for the final shot. That pass is deflected. Navy comes up with yet another steal. Boy, the defense for Navy has been most impressive here this afternoon. At the buzzer, Dale has to hoist it. Can't get it to go. 72-51 is your score. And again, folks, we're going to cut the audio for the fourth quarter. Should the game become competitive again, we will certainly pick the audio back up. But for right now, we're going to go with the video only here in the fourth quarter. So we will be right back with fourth quarter action in just a moment.